All right, the Facebook live stream is now live. Haha, of course, that's what that means. So I'm just gonna give everybody a couple more minutes to just kind of stroll on in. Because it seems like it's just a lazy Sunday morning, which I am perfectly fine with. How's everybody doing today? Can I get thumbs up for if you're feeling okay? Cool, cool. Amy, how's that one kidney life treating you? All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Kansas City Oasis. I feel like you all kind of know who I am. I'm Nikki Actipis. I'm the board president. So today we are going to do a self-care Sunday, but we're going to do things a little bit differently than we have the last two virtual self-care Sundays we've had. So we are going to have music by Kelly Werts this morning and also a community moment by Jennifer Palmer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I got your last name right. Fantastic. And then we will have our discussion on how we've been taking care of ourselves during this pandemic and just chatting with each other, catching up, and just checking in. So what that means is I'm going to prompt questions up front after the community moment. And when we send you to your breakout rooms, you'll have 15 minutes to kind of just discuss those questions. And then when we come back, if we can have a share out, that would be amazing. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Kelly to play us some awesome music.
All right. Morning, everybody. I woke up with a little bit of music going through my head, and so while I was waking up, I put together these musical ideas, and so now I've got a new tune for you today. My wife was out taking pictures of the biological landscape. She's an artist, and the ironweed is in bloom right now. And so this tune is called the Ironweed Slow Drag. as the Ironweed Slow Drag. And a slow drag is sort of the cross between ragtime and blues. And you would dance real slow to that kind of music. So I'm really happy to be here today, and I'm kind of in the mood for playing my guitar. And so I'm going to play another tune that I wrote. And this tune comes from the places that I've lived, because I lived first, I grew up in Junction City, Kansas, where there were two rivers that met there, the Republican and the Smoky Hill, and they met together to turn into the Kansas River, or the Kaw River. That's what I called it growing up. And then later on I lived in Wichita, where the Big and the Little Arkansas River, those two rivers joined together to make the Arkansas River. And then that river flows on into Arkansas, where they call it the Arkansas River. And now I live in the Kansas City area, where the Kansas River flows into the Missouri River to make the new and improved Missouri River. And so there seems to be something special about, you know, places where rivers meet, and going back to the, you know, the early history of the native people who lived here, and they tended to congregate at those places. So anyway, this tune is a tune that I wrote on the fiddle many years ago, and I learned how to play it on the guitar. It's called Two Rivers.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was amazing. So we will hear from you again in a little bit after our coffee break. So right now, I just want to introduce Jennifer, who is going to talk to us about self-care today. It's a perfect day for this, isn't it?
It is. Good morning. Hi, I'm Jennifer Palmer. I am a nurse and I work a lot in, I'm a relationship educator and a forensic interviewer, as well as a pediatric case manager. So I work a lot in this space. And one of the folks reached out and asked if I'd be interested in doing a community moment. So here I am. So the topic that I chose to talk about is setting and keeping healthy boundaries, which is very important for a lot of different reasons. I could probably talk about this for an hour. So we're gonna condense it down to a 5 or 6 minute thing. So why is setting boundaries so important? It's an important part of self-care because it helps you maintain your personal integrity, your authenticity of self that makes you who you are, and helps you define and acknowledge where your values lie. It's also kind of a subtle thing sometimes to try to learn this. I know as a younger person, I really struggled with this because of a lot of things in my childhood. So it really took me a lot of counseling and reading to kind of manage this for my own self. Where boundaries apply in your life and where they can have a potential to have those boundaries violated: emotional boundaries, material things, personal space, sexuality, personal values, and time and energy. So these are all, everybody's different and has different places that they feel like uncomfortable. Some people are really particular about their things and their space. Some people, it goes more onto a value level. Time and energy, that's a big one for me. I know people wasting my time is just really frustrating for me. And emotional boundaries, and this can be anything from your friends to a partner, as well as, you know, adult children and some other things like that. So part of the processes that I usually talk about is strengthening your boundaries. I'm a parent, and so one of the other things is as I go through this, I kind of made this so it would be applicable to yourself, but also how to support your children to have strong boundaries at a young age. And because there's a lot of evidence and research that shows that that is a positive thing for our kids, to be assertive, learn to be assertive, and that is a skill. I mean, some people are more naturally assertive, some people not so much, but learning to say no, and expecting that to be respected, how to safeguard your space, whether that's personal, like logistical space, like your home or your workplace, or your emotional space. Get support, know your limits, and to practice. People are like, what do you mean practice? I'm like, if you have somebody in your office that's always in your personal space and it makes you uncomfortable, think how these things could apply in these steps. And having a trusted friend or somebody that you can say, hey, I need you to move your chair, or I'm not comfortable with that. And learning how to get those points across can really be valuable in the long run. How to respect other people's boundaries. This is also part of it, is being able to respect other people's boundaries and be respectful. You watch for cues and red flags that you're making them uncomfortable. Be respectful of their time and space and things that they've already expressed to you. Note verbal and nonverbal communication. Sometimes there can be a disconnect that people are like, yeah, I'm fine with that, but you can tell by their body that that's not maybe necessarily the case. Adapt for neurodivergent behaviors. This one is a newer one. We talk about neurodiversity and behaviors a lot of times related to people who have autism spectrum disorders and that sort of thing. But people who have significant social anxiety, this can also be appropriate. Ask direct questions. Does that bother you when I do that? Would you prefer if I don't do that? And be open to those answers. And then one that I also have had a lot of personal experience with is accept no as a complete answer. When somebody says, no, I can't do that, I have to learn to just not ask any more questions, even though I'm curious or I want to know, is everything okay? But accepting no as a complete answer for somebody and recognizing that they might not be able to verbalize necessarily why that's a boundary for them, or maybe not want to disclose that. So those are things just to be cognizant of. This quote I love: healthy boundaries are not walls to block others out, but they're barriers that set us free to love the right people, most importantly ourselves. And so I think that's it. This is the last, these are some of my resources I referenced. And then this bottom one is my personal site for the work I do. And I can take questions if you want, or we can post it in the group or whatever.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. If anybody has questions right now and you would like to speak up, please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask those questions. But if you want to save them for later, that's also okay. Jennifer, I know I needed that this morning because I'm a person who struggles with boundaries. So thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
If there aren't any questions right now, I just want to move into giving some announcements before I give you guys your questions and let you be free to your groups for a group discussion. So on a positive note, I would like to announce that Autumn, one of our board members, had her birthday this last week. So if you see them or haven't yet said happy birthday on Facebook, drop them a line, say happy birthday. I'm sure they would appreciate that. And on a more sobering note, I just want to take a moment to recognize John Lewis, who passed away this last week. He was an American civil rights activist and politician. So if we could just take a moment today to, recognize his work and the work that still needs to be done. So moving forward, we're switching things up today. I know you all love that. We're doing Self-Care Sunday at the beginning of the month instead of the last of the month. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes in your breakout groups to discuss these questions. So I've got a few questions. I will drop them in the chat also, and you'll be able to see those in your breakout rooms. My first question to you is, what changes to your life during the pandemic are you hoping to become more permanent? And then what are you grateful for in this moment? What is going well? What could be better? So just take those questions, and I'm going to post them in the chat right now. And take the 15 minutes for your coffee break to kind of just discuss these. And then when we come back, we will discuss them as a group, or you can drop your answers in the chat. So I'm going to send you all off to your breakout rooms, maybe. And anybody who decides to stay in the main room, please just be conscious of that we are still streaming on Facebook Live. So please keep any conversations PG, please. All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope your breakout rooms were super productive, and we will be just having that discussion after we hear another tune from Kelly.
So this is a traditional tune I'll play on my guitar called John Brown's March. And of course, John Brown was one of the original anti-racists, and he did his part to try to get rid of slavery back in the day. And he was kind of a rough character. Anyway, he got in trouble and they sentenced him to hang, and so there was a point where he had to march to the gallows, and I assume that this tune comes from that occasion. So this is called John Brown's March.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was amazing.
Thank you.
We had a question in the chat about where people could donate to you. So if you can put that in the chat before the end of our program, that would be amazing.
Okay, I'll try to figure that out during the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're gonna move on to our self-care Sunday group chat. So hopefully in your groups, you discuss those questions, and I'm just gonna read them off again. If I can find them. Well, they're gone. So the first question was, what changes have you made during the pandemic? Changes in your life have you made that you would like to see stick around after everything is done. So if you would like to put them in the chat, I would also like some people to just come off of mute and kind of talk, give voice to what they discussed in their small groups. So I'm seeing Jennifer say more time outside and gardening. That sounds actually really peaceful right now. And working from home, yeah. So now that we know we have the technologies, it would kind of be nice if a lot of us could start working from home if we can, if that's something that we can work from home on. I know me personally, going into my first year of teaching, I'm really grateful for KCKPS. They're letting us have this month until after Labor Day to just kind of get everything together. And then we are teaching virtually for the first 9 weeks. So more outside. I see Jill and Gary have been going outside, walking it almost every day. Less time in front of the TV. I still need to I still need to work on that one. And I see Melanie is also walking more. So with that, what is going well for you right now? What, regardless of everything happening outside of ourselves, what is really working for everybody? Feel free to put that in the chat or come off of mute, because I know you all don't want to listen to me for the next 20 minutes reading off things from the chat. So what right now is going well for everybody? Jill and Gary, their relationship is getting stronger. That's awesome. What if I call in somebody? Jason, can I call on you to share out loud?
Hi, Quid.
Hello. As far as what's going well, being able to work from home, taking daily walks, and being able to be at home while Amy has been recovering from her surgery a week ago Thursday without having to take a lot of time off work to be able to do that. She's doing well. Speaking of walking, she walked around the block this morning. Staying in touch with people through these like Oasis Zooms and other things like that have been good to keep up some of the connections since we haven't been able to see everybody. As far as things that we want to continue, I was hoping that, you know, working from home more would be a good thing, and that's what I've been grateful for.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jason. I think Denise also said she wants to go. Denise, yes.
Yeah, this kind of expands on the being outdoors. I've always been interested in gardening, but this year I'm not really comfortable going into nurseries, and ordering online is kind of iffy, so I did a lot of seed stuff. Now I am growing some stuff. I don't even know what I'm growing, but it's been interesting because seeds are so much less expensive. You can try a lot of stuff, and I've been thrilled to see, oh, that's what it was. So I've got flowers blooming I didn't mean to grow and that kind of stuff, but it's interesting. So I've been enjoying that.
That seems like that can get you in trouble if you don't know exactly what you're growing.
Well, I did not, no, I didn't order any seeds that I wouldn't, but I might have planted them in the wrong place, you know, that kind of stuff. So I ordered seeds I wanted plants of.
That's trial and error. That sounds amazing though, Denise. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else feel moved to say something before I call? Maureen, yes. You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. I unmuted myself. I'm filling pill bottles. It's what I do. So that continued. You know, Micah is back. They're not inside, they're outside, but I'm back filling pill bottles, and that gives me, you know, a sense of purpose, which is really nice. So if you have pill bottles or leftover shampoo, we put in the private page where to deliver things like that too, but so people are still doing that. That's it.
Is there anything that Micah really needs right now? Maybe we can get the word out here.
Denise might have to add. Always
Yes.
men's clothes.
Yeah, they desperately need shorts, men's underwear, men's shoes. I don't know how you're doing on hygiene supplies, but shorts, I haven't been shopping much, but when I do, you just can't buy shorts. They're not in the thrift stores. So they desperately need that for men.
I'm okay on body wash. Interestingly enough, I will always need shampoo and lotion. Oh, so if you want, you don't need to do that, Denise, because you're very generous. But if other people want to give to Micah, that would be one way.
Yeah, that would be awesome, especially since usually on our 5th Sundays, if we were in person.
Like
yeah. So if you guys have any questions about Micah, Denise and Maureen are the ones to go to.
And Sally, you know, I don't do the Monday part. I just help them prepare. I go on Thursdays and deliver stuff.
And I haven't been going on Mondays, but I do keep up with it on the, they've got enough volunteers on most Mondays because they're doing it outside. It's not near what it is indoors, but they do say what they need. And on the page, you can drop it off. Like if you decide, usually I go to like Dollar Tree or Big Lots and buy, and you can drop it at a porch. You don't even have to go to Micah.
Yeah, no, right. And that's where I go is Big Lots.
Nikki, I'm going out because I volunteer at the clinic, at the medical clinic out at Micah. So I've been going since March. And so there's like, I think Maureen just added that there is a need for, you know, the basic sort of, you know, there's a portable shower now. Somebody shows up, Team Jesus shows up every week and they have a portable shower and they give out clean clothes. So you can take a shower and you always get clean clothes afterwards. And they initially bought their own clothes, I believe, and now they're relying on Micah's clothes because they're obviously running really low. And so if you want to, I can drop anything off if anybody wants me to, if you've got any, like I said, all the things they mentioned, shoes, underwear, socks. But basically, they're allowed to, they can take a shower and then they need clean clothes to put on after the shower. So that's kind of what's going on with that. So.
Awesome. Thank you for adding some clarification there, because it sounds like, I mean, there's always going to be people in need, but especially right now, it's even more difficult with all the steps, extra steps you have to take.
Right. They've been working, the clinic's been outside. So while the weather's been good, which it has not rained one time, we got on Monday nights since they started in April, it hasn't rained one night. So we're good. Seeing patients outside, but I mean, who knows how long this is going to be and what they're going to have to do once, you know, the bad weather starts, or so I don't know. It will be interesting.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed that it doesn't rain this upcoming time for you guys. Keep up that trend. Well, thank you all for sharing that about Micah. Like I said earlier, this is usually our time where we would do something for the community, but we're, you know, it's difficult right now. Would anybody else like to share on those questions you all discussed during your groups or didn't discuss? Can I call on Lisa, because you're off mute anyways for some reason?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm connected on my phone just so I can watch the chat, and then I'm sitting here with Kevin on his login. So yeah, I just said that we talk every single day about how grateful we are to still have jobs that have been unaffected so far, because so many people aren't that fortunate. and to be able to very easily do our jobs from home. You know, it's something that I hope we never take for granted.
Yeah. You know,
That's it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I know a lot of people, it's been difficult not being able to go to work. And it's kind of been nice actually to see this, that maybe we're going to start moving towards the ability to work at home and have more flexible hours, which would be nice for folks with different abilities. I think I touched on this last week during my community moment. You know, as a new teacher, we're seeing, oh, well, we can teach online, so we're going to be able to, you know, provide resources for those kids who can't make it to school because their school isn't ADA accessible, or maybe they're having a mental health day that they just need, but they can like check in online. So hopefully we're going to continue to use these technologies and not just go back to quote unquote normal after this all passes. And I saw, Rebecca, you said you're doing a lot of knitting and writing a lot more postcards and encouraging people to vote. If you feel comfortable coming off of mute and giving a little bit more context, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I can totally do that. So I'm sure you guys remember, like, whenever we would meet in person, I would always have my knitting bag. Well, I've since like completed that like black blanket thing, and I've made like, I don't know how many hats. I have like a tower of hats. And I've also like started other projects. I finished other projects that I've had on needles for like years. So I have lots of ongoing projects. I've also been reading more, kind of like how I used to when I was younger. So that's been fun to kind of rediscover that passion I had. And then the other thing that I've really gotten into, partially because I have a lot of relatives that work or used to work for the post office. So this is like a double passion, because I'm mailing people letters and postcards encouraging them to vote. So there's different organizations that you can do that through. The letters one would be Vote Forward, and they're specifically targeting people that are already registered, but per their like voting record don't vote very often, and they will live in areas that it's really critical elections. So there are a lot of lists for like Florida, Texas, trying to think of some other ones like Wisconsin, Iowa, and you can just sign up to figure out like which area you want, and then you can claim like 5 or 20, and you just fill out, you know, why you vote, and then you prep the envelope and the letter and everything, and then on a certain day they'll tell you when you need to mail it out, so that way there's enough time for it to arrive to encourage that person to vote. And you're not telling them like which specific candidate to vote for or anything. You're just saying like, hey, this is the reason why I vote in every election. It's really important to me. Please get out and vote. Whereas like other organizations that do the letters or the postcards are specifically having like a call to action to vote for a specific candidate. And myself, I really don't like that as much. So even though I do write postcards for like postcards to voters, and I can't remember the other organization, I specifically choose not to write for like specific candidates. I'd rather just encourage them to either register to vote or to register by mail. So lately I've been doing a lot of the, they're specifically targeting, and by there I mean postcards to voters, they're specifically targeting a lot of the counties in Florida, because as it stands in Florida, all you have to do is literally call your county board of elections, and you can be signed up to vote by mail for every election for the next 5 years. You will automatically receive a ballot in the mail. So I think just letting people know about that is a really great way to be a part of your democracy without like pushing, you know, a specific candidate or anything like that. Because frankly, it's like the most American thing you can do is registering to vote and to vote in every election. There are so many local elections in which, you know, it's down to, you know, 20 or less votes. So it's a little like passion of mine. So every time I hear something in the news, I'm like, I'm gonna write like 5 more postcards. I can put some links in the chat if people would like to have
Well, thank you for
different resources on the postcards and letters and all of that.
That would actually be amazing. And thank you so much for sharing. So yeah, post those in the chat and then post them on the private page as well. And I can approve that post. This year is going to be a little hectic with voting. And I think that's really cool that that's what Florida's up to. Which, you know, with things that are currently happening, that might get a little bit messy considering folks have decided to move ahead with certain evictions and whatever. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that sad, frustrating rabbit hole right now. But anyways, thank you, Rebecca, for sharing.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that would like to share something that's going on in their lives? It can be something that you want to work on or that you're really proud of right now. Yeah, just we've got a few more minutes and I would really like to hear more from you guys because I miss everybody and I just want to know what's going on in y'all's lives. I'm also perfectly okay with us ending with another great musical set from Kelly and giving you guys a little bit of extra time back in your afternoon on this looks like sunny Sunday afternoon. Because I know personally I'm Zoom fatigued, but I get on to see you guys because you guys keep me going throughout the week. So Kelly, if you're still there, yes, I see you. If you would like to close us out, that would be awesome.
Okay. All you Zoomed fatigued folks out there, we're looking forward to getting out. It's a pretty nice day out there today. This last tune is not meant to put you to sleep, but the title of it is Sweet Dreams, and it is kind of a nice signing off number. So thanks again for having me with you at Oasis. I played there last year sometime and had a great time, so it's great to be back, and so hope to be back again sometime. So this, and I did put my PayPal information into the chat. So this is Sweet Dreams.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kelly,
Thanks a
so
lot.
much. That was a great way to end our session today. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, and thank you, Jennifer, for your community moment. And thanks to everybody else who shared out today. So with that, I will give you guys back a few extra minutes and hope to see you back here next week when we have a featured speaker. So long, everybody, and see you next time.